The otherworldly arrogance of ministers like Ben Wallace, who, for the most part, is actually quite positive. I mean, he's quite a good man, it seems. But I must say, I am astonished when there are reports about people drinking boiled water because there is no water, when basic necessaries are unavailable, and the British authorities say that people who want to be evacuated should make their way 30 kilometers to an airfield across a war zone. And he says, well, if they don't have access to a car or fuel, at the moment, I mean, we have said, make your way to the airfield because that's what the Germans have done and what others had done, and that seemed to work, and it does seem to work. But of course, it's not going to be that easy, but it is functioning. People are managing to get through, and if people can take their car, they can leave it at the airfield. It's more benign where the airfield is. So they need to get through the checkpoints. We've seen so far the checkpoints are helpful, but the Sudanese army and indeed the other faction, in fact, we've seen reports of them holding people, helping people and saying, don't go at night, go later. But then he goes on to say that you should get a taxi out of the city despite the bloody power struggle between the Sudanese and the rival military, paramilitary force that's erupted in the city. Khartoum is a place where you can't get taxis, where you can't get things like that. They still run, he said. They still run. Taxi drivers will in anything actually get people there. We do have the ability to go and get people, but the danger starts when you start drawing attention to them, he said. It's extraordinary. So we leave it so late that actually people don't know. So he says Germans have got to the airfield. Yes, because they knew there were flights, because they knew their country cared for them. The British had no idea that we cared for them, didn't know what we were supposed to be doing. We had told the British to stay in their homes. Now you're saying, well, they should make it to the airfield. Other nations have managed to do that. Well, that was a few days ago when there was fuel. Now there isn't. It's extraordinarily arrogant and slightly shockingly out of touch for Ben Wallace to sit in a LBC studio and pontificate about taxes in a war zone. Is he mad? I think he's so out of touch, and shockingly ill-informed. Get a taxi. I seem to recall in the Thatcher days we were told to get on our bike. It's much the same level of contempt for basic human beings.